7th of January 2025, Tuesday. The US markets have just opened. I have several entries planned here. First up will be following the completion of the second 5-minute candle in the Dow. So I will bring you back for that. Other than that, I do have some entries in the SPX and the Nasdaq, but they are a bit later on. So this will be the most recent one that will trigger. Just to show you, I did leave some trades open. In the morning I had a trade open since yesterday and an add-on from today when it hit the trend line, and both hit. I closed the add-on a bit earlier and I had the target lowered to the previous trend line. When it hit, it actually price went even further, but that's fine. Very happy with that, of course. As you can see here, these are the trades. So on a nice run currently after starting quite slowly, up to $100 on the account. And let's see what the US session brings. I'll pause you, and when we're nearing the completion of the second 5-minute candle, I will bring you back. So the second 5-minute candle has completed here. And it looks like we are going to get triggered high above, about 5 points cushion. Something like this. So we're going to wait for a fill now. Second entry I'm going to be looking for is on the completion of the second 15-minute candle in the DAX. So going to wait for that. I also had an entry here, which is this exact candle, and I triggered short, but looking at how strong this has been, I know it's basically where I exited, and there's of course ample reason to make the case for a short here, and for a sell here, but I just felt like, and this trigger hasn't been good in the past 2 days, but it has been good overall in the past few weeks, but I decided to skip it. So I'm going to take this trade whichever direction it goes. I'm going to treat it as a scalp. So after 50 points in profit, I'm going to move stop loss to break even and probably look to take profit faster. If we look on the bigger time frame, now if we're going to use Fibonacci here, pretty much in the zone where you would expect the retrace to stop and the sell to resume. So it's 62%, quite standard. So not saying that I'm necessarily favoring a short here again, but it certainly could happen, or we could just continue. Like I said, in the morning, and target this area here, which I do believe we're going to revisit quite soon. So yeah, there's a case to be made in either direction, of course, and I'm just gonna trust my entry and my research. And right now, whichever direction the second 5-minute bar breaks is a good direction to follow for the first few minutes of trading into the US session, like the first hour of trading. But I'm not planning on holding it for too long, so I want to see a fast move, whichever direction it breaks. And it might break short here. But let's see, it went just below the previous bar. Now some bars are stepping in, this is why we use the cushion. But that doesn't mean we can't get faked, and you know, you could easily just go below, trigger, and then reverse. That can also happen sometimes, of course. So some buyers have stepped in here, which is interesting, but looks like sellers are also not giving up. So just going down to the 1 minute here, you can see the price action. Yeah, so I think we're gonna get a short trigger here any moment. Any moment now. My sizing might be a bit too large for the stop, but I'll adjust once we get triggered. As that came all the way down, almost to London lows. Then it's retracing, which is fine. I don't really have an entry for the Nasdaq yet. Just observing. So I'm essentially, in the Nasdaq I'm going to be waiting for the 7th 15-minute bar, so quite a long way to go. And in the SPX I'm waiting for the 4th 15-minute bar today. Oh, we actually got triggered here. Yeah, so delete. Back up. Oh, actually no, I did calculate correctly the sizing, so it's fine. We are within our 0.5%, which is the maximum I want to risk on any one trade. That's fine. So we went below. We're attempting again to buy and go back up. We shall see. I expect sellers to not to give up without a fight here. And if we close below this bar here, into London session territory, I do think that there's a good chance that we try to revisit this area here. So a target of mine, the initial target of mine would be somewhere around here. Let's say somewhere around here. Yeah, come on. This is what we want to see, and we want to see follow through now. And preferably a close below this. I think we'd see some capitulation from the longs. Because we have trapped longs now, and then we're going to squeeze them. Yep. Now my entry is at 843. At about 790, I'm going to move stop loss to break even for this particular entry. The Dow is more tricky and more volatile, I find. And generally, if it returns, it's not going to continue. You kind of want to see follow through almost immediately. So we have like 2 minutes before this bar closes, and ideally I want to see it close below this bar, which would give me confidence that I'm going to go lower. But let's see, I'll pause you for now and bring you back. Okay, we're almost, just completed the 5-minute bar. It's a nice close below this and back into the range. So now even if we revisit our entry point, I do believe there's a good chance that we keep selling. I'm gonna take the stop lower here, just above this bar. And I do want to see follow through here. And I think we have like 20 minutes, in my opinion, from my research and my experience with this particular entry. So we have to hit the target in the next 20 to 30 minutes max. Nothing more. If we don't, then it's not going to happen, and we might as well just close the trade wherever it is, but we'll see. So far it's a nice close, and I do hope for a follow through here. Again, some bulls might be trying to step in here. Hopefully the selling pressure continues, and the guys who sold here aren't really satisfied yet. Elsewhere, we're 9 minutes off completing the second 15-minute bar here. This isn't really a big bar so far. It's like an 18-point bar, which would allow us a larger sized trade. But let's see what happens. So we do have a spike back up here. Like I said, I would expect this bar to hold now. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. I'm completely fine with moving the stop loss here. Again, for this particular entry, I think you do need to be more active with your stop than, for example, the UK 100, where I could have just let the original stop untouched, and as you can see, today and yesterday as well, it wouldn't have gotten clipped. How many points did we have here at most? So like exactly 50 points, which is exactly what I said. After the 50 points, I can move it to break even. I decided not to move it to break even because it does really like to revisit the previous support, which I would expect turns into resistance now, but let's see. If not, we just lose a small trade here, which is perfectly fine. We're now risking $20 to make like 65, so that's a nice R&R. Sadly, it does seem like buyers have stepped in and sellers aren't really as strong as I would have hoped so far, but we're still in it. There's still some ways to go here. What we don't want to see now is a close above this, and of course, I mean, any touch of our stop is enough to stop us, of course. But yeah, this entry is basically a scalp, and generally it's right at 50 points where I'm starting to think about either closing it or maybe taking something off, or maybe allowing it to just run. In this case, I felt like I should just let it run, because normally when you see this type of reversal in the Dow and it closes back into London range, it does tend to follow through for the, like I said, for the first 15 to 20 minutes. And we just closed at the extreme of the previous candle. So we're very close to getting stopped out here. Our only chance is to see the price just above and then go back below with sellers stepping in, but I think that this trade isn't going to work out. Kind of a huge swing if we think about it, and we got stopped out. So it was what, from 94, so it's like 76 points in like 5 minutes. So sadly the sellers didn't follow through here. Of course you can still see a sell here, but we got stopped out. We minimized our losses here, so that's fine. And I'm just gonna wait for the next entry, which in the Dow is going to be a break of the second 15-minute bar. And second 15-minute bar in the DAX as well. And then I'm gonna wait for the SPX and the NASDAQ entries. Might of course be a case of us just getting clipped and we're back to selling. If that happens, it's just unfortunate, nothing we can do about it, just move on. Okay, so I'll pause you, as there's like 4 minutes left until the second 15-minute bar is complete, and I'll see you then. Okay, so we're almost there, like 40 seconds. So let me switch this to the 15. The sell is going to be here. And the buy is going to be here. It's 95. Let's do it like this. Hopefully it doesn't get clipped before the market completes. And for the DAX here, it's going to be something like that. Wow, and immediately got clipped. We do have some news coming out here, so a bit unfortunate if we just get instantly stopped here, but that's life. If it does happen. If this sells now, it's a bit unfortunate with our stop, but what can you do? Like I said, I generally don't move stop, but for this particular entry, I do prefer to move the stop loss because the Dow is just very volatile. So to protect capital, I'm going to be a bit more active with the stop loss. It does seem like our short here off this bar would have worked. Got triggered short again here. This might be too much, so I have to take a bit off the Dow. Just so our stop respects the 0.5. For trade risked. Now, target, it's once again going to be just around here. I'm going to have to settle for a 1-to-1 here. I don't know if going all the way down something I want to target here. But I am going to go back to break even. In this case, it's again 50 points, more, it's like 70 points of profit here. So I'm going to be aggressive with the stop loss in the Dow. Wondering if I should do the same with the DAX, but I actually do believe that the DAX allows me to be a bit more traditional. Also looking at this this trend line here. And I've just noticed that I had my mic a bit far away from me, so hopefully you managed to hear me okay up until now. If not, I do apologize for that. I forgot to move it back into place, so it was a bit further away from me. Yeah, so we're gonna let these run, and hopefully you do get a bit of good fortune here. Because I do think this stop was a bit unlucky. We would have hit TP on that first entry, and now it's retracing, but there you go. What can you do? Now we're gonna get stopped out. We had jolts coming out, the news was positive, and the market sold because I guess the numbers are a bit inflationary. Nice to see price go back down after getting close to my entry point, but now I need to see some follow through. Come on. I'm actually really frustrated because I forgot to move the mic earlier. I do hope you were able to hear me. I'm gonna upload the video regardless, but hopefully the first part doesn't completely suck. Buyers are stepping in here again. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch the DAX at all. Just gonna leave it like that. Even though it's actually, the stop is bigger than I would have wanted, so I'm gonna just adjust the sizing to be below 0.5%. And what's happened in gold is just showing me that I should have followed my planned entry. Would have gotten treated short here. My stop would have been here, so on the bounce back up I would have been safe. And this is like 20 points of profit almost. So no reason to not be taking your planned entries. This is the lesson. Well, I mean, maybe there's a reason, of course. If this had shot up, I would have said that, oh look, I was so smart to not take it. But the point is that this is a research trigger that right now is profitable, in my opinion. So yes, I should have taken it. The fact that it worked or it wouldn't have worked is a bit irrelevant. still live P&L. I'm not gonna close for anything less than the target. It's gotten pretty close. I mean, there's a good chance it hits, I would say. Just need that last little bit of push. I'll just pause you, I guess. I would have liked to catch it on video, maybe now. We need like, what, 25 points or something. Come on. There you go. That was nice. Okay. So, a little bit of a reprieve here in the Dow. Hit a nice TP there. And now we're gonna wait for this one. I think should I move the stop loss to this one? I mean, results of the other trades or the trading day in general shouldn't really influence my decision making, right? So sometimes you would go here, well, I'm up on the day, let's minimize risk. But is this what I'm supposed to do? Is this the most efficient move? Is the question. And I think there's still a good chance we retrace and revisit a place close to the trend line. So I would rather just leave it here. And hopefully, if we're lucky, we just go down and hit this, and then we don't care. $50 in profits. We're at 1-to-1 right now. But yeah. Good to take half off. I don't really like doing that. And if I take more than half off, like if I take one off here, what does that really leave me with, you know? Because in that case, I should just like probably take it down to here. So I could do it like this, I guess. It's still dropping though, so I'm just gonna leave it. Let's see what happens. Looks like it's quite strong still. We really sold off in the Nasdaq and SPX. Sadly, I didn't have an entry for these. One entry I could have here would have been the second 15-minute bar, but right now it's not the greatest of entries. So this is why. I mean, it's not the greatest of entries for the Nasdaq. So this is why it wasn't on my radar today. But yeah, a bit of a retrace here. Let's go on the 5-minute to see it a bit. So you would hope that this area holds now on any retrace. Okay, I'll pause you because I've been rambling for too long, and I'll bring you back. So a little update, I have decided to move the stop loss a bit lower from like here to here. I do believe that, once again, using the same logic as here, even if here it didn't work. I would really not expect price to go above this bar if the sellers are indeed in control here. So I'm gonna use a slightly lower stop loss and hopefully it's enough. Yeah, I'll bring you back when we get closer to a resolution. Also, we are like 7 minutes off completion of the fourth 15-minute bar in the SPX. The problem is that we're getting close to a 20-point bar, which for the SPX, I feel like it's a bit too large to take an entry. But we will see, I might still take it. If not, the next entry for the SPX will be the 6th 15-minute bar. I could wait for the 6th 15-minute bar in case it's a bit smaller and enter off that. Elsewhere, I'm just gonna wait for the 7th 15-minute bar in the Nasdaq. So I'll pause you and hopefully this bar holds. So the fourth 15-minute bar has completed in SPX, but I will instead wait for the 6th 15-minute bar instead. They are very similar, and considering this is almost a 20-point bar, I would prefer to wait, and I think there's a reasonable chance here that we go and touch previous day low, maybe flush below, and then come back up. So I'm a bit skeptical of being triggered here on this fourth 15-minute bar, and having the 6th 15-minute bar as a viable alternative. I think I'd rather wait for that. Here we just revisited my entry point, which happens a lot. This is why I don't really move my trades to break even immediately. Going back down, I do hope that this time around we get a sell. I might just actually take something off here, but it just feels like there's definitely some type of demand here. There's a buyer here that keeps stepping in every time we reach this area, but yeah. So I'll just take most of it off here, and I will in fact bring this close to break even, actually just above this bar, and instead to compensate, if this were to actually flush, I'm gonna hit a more ambitious target, which would be somewhere around here, I would say, just below this bar here, and well within London range, and I can just let that run. So yeah, I'll wait for the 6th 15-minute bar here and the 7th 15-minute bar here. And let me adjust the sizing for this as well, because it's not going to be one upper point here. And yeah, I'll pause you and see you when we get closer to an entry. The 6th 15-minute bar in the SPX is about to complete, sorry. Problem is that it's basically the same story. 54, 23, it's 21 points. It's actually larger than the fourth one. So I don't really want to take the trigger where my stop loss would have to be so far off. You could say, well, you can place your stop loss higher, and of course that's the case, but this is the strategy. Now, had I taken the short here, I would have had like 16 points of profit, which would be below 1-to-1 R&R. It's not really what I want to do, so I'm going to skip the SPX completely today. A bit unfortunate, but there we go. Index went lower. I think it would have hit my original entry, my original take profit. But there you go. I took something off and locked in profit. If it goes all the way back, it's not that big of a difference. So that's fine. I'm gonna let this run. And we will finish with the 7th 15-minute bar on the Nasdaq, which has been a very good entry lately. So it's going to be this bar, which has just started to form, so we'll have to wait another 15 minutes. Hopefully it's not too large of a bar. I would like it to be 100 points at maximum. So like this is above 100 points. So I would like it to be something like this bar in size. Let's see if my eye is correct here, 448. So yeah, this is like a 110 point bar. So yeah, if it's too large of a bar, I'm gonna have to skip this as well, but we'll decide when we get there. Gold is back to this trend line now, so if I just extend this trend line, which I was following earlier, there could be a discussion to go long here again. But at the same time, we have rejected this level once more. It's the second time we rejected it. So I'm just gonna wait for more clarity here. I think I don't see a strong enough case that just convinces me that there's an edge in going long here. So yeah, I'm gonna let this run and wait for the 7th 15-minute bar to complete in the Nasdaq, and I'll bring you back. So the 7th 15-minute bar has completed. It is a smaller bar as I hoped it would be. Placing my orders above and below, using a 5 to 6 point cushion. Yes, something like that. And I'll adjust the sizing after the trigger. But I would like to leave it like this and maybe hope that it just goes directly in that direction. We shall see. It's like a 75 point difference between the entries, and the bar itself has like 60 points, which is nice. And in fact, I was thinking I forgot that I changed the sizing to 0.5. Yeah, so it's perfectly fine within the maximum amount I want to risk per trade. Nothing much has happened. This is close to getting stopped out, I guess, but It's fine. Gold is bouncing off here. I have no problem with this. Didn't want to take a trade here. Feel like it would have been just too speculative and not something I had planned. So not really interested in that. I think we're in a range here. So this area here is now range. And entering here isn't that attractive to me. I will look for more clarity before I take another long-term entry in gold. And I mean, long-term for me as a day trader is basically a swing trade that I keep overnight, like the previous one was. Let's see if we get filled here. I think that the sweeping yesterday's low coming back in, I think generally you would assume that we would go up from here. We tapped into this area here where this move upwards happened yesterday, so buyer stepping back in, could move back up or towards the lows of London session, but let's see. I would probably prefer that to the long trigger with a target around here. That would likely mean that this gets stopped out as well, but again, this is just what's left after I took a lot off here. Maybe not the best trade management, but I feel like with losing this trend line and how these bars looked, it was reasonable of me to do so. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for a fill here, and I'll show you when that happens. So we just got triggered long. I'm gonna put the stop a bit below the trigger bar. Going to target kind of this area here. We can even use the fib to the side. So just above the 62%, I would say, is enough for this move. And hoping for a follow through here. The initial reaction isn't great, but happens. Yeah, I'll pause you again and bring you back. Hopefully it doesn't just go oof. Yeah, pausing you here. Well, it was meant to be. I got stopped in both. This is one of the best entries I have in the NASDAQ, so it just didn't work today. That's fine. Overall, a very positive day. And yeah, gonna see you tomorrow, hopefully. We'll continue my planned and researched entries. And yeah, hopefully you've learned something from watching me trade. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you, and I will see you tomorrow.